When you hear of cartels, your mind probably goes to the likes of Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo, Pablo Escobar Gaviria, or Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán because of their notoriety. But these famous men aren't the only ones calling the shots in that deadly line of work. Some women have climbed up the ranks and made themselves feared by rival cartels and the authorities. In this video, we'll take a look at the most ruthless female cartel bosses. Jocelyn Alejandra Niño, La Flaca. Jocelyn Alejandra Niño was an assassin of the Gulf Cartel. She went by the alias La Flaca, which means the skinny one. She was given this moniker by the Gulf Cartel because of her thin build. This name also refers to the female skeleton saint known as Our Lady of Holy Death, who is revered by tens of thousands in Mexico and is well liked by some drug dealers. In Mexico, organized crime groups frequently enlist girls with Niño's physique and feminine appearance to conceal them from rival gang members and government enforcement. They occasionally start as lookouts for organized crime or prostitutes before moving up to the ranks of foot soldiers. On January 5, 2015, an anonymous online user uploaded a photo of Niño to Valor para Tamaulipas, a citizen journalist page that posts security updates and organized crime leaks. This act made Niño famous on social media. Her photos were posted on Twitter and Facebook. Niño was recognized in the photo as a hitwoman for the Gulf Cartel working out of Rio Bravo, Tamaulipas. She was grinning for the camera while toting a gun and a bulletproof vest. She wore a golden necklace and had her sunglasses perched on her head. The background of the picture triggered comments on the assassins working for the cartel's apparent low-income lifestyle, which seemed to counter the idea that they led opulent lives in Mexico. On the 13th of April 2015, just 4 months after her picture leaked, Mexican authorities in Matamoros, Tamaulipas found Niño's dismembered body inside an ice cooler. At the parking lot of a Soriana, the cooler was left behind. The remainder of her body parts were discovered in plastic bags. The attackers also left a decapitated guy and another mutilated female corpse at the scene. Investigators believe that the two individuals killed alongside Niño were also Los Ciclones members. Her tattoo on her forearm, which read Niño, her last name, allowed investigators to recognize her corpse. She was assumed to be in her early or late 20s. Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel, La Catrina. Maria Guadalupe Lopez Esquivel led a Mexican cartel hit squad and went by the alias La Catrina. She was only 21 when she was killed in a shootout against the Mexican authorities. La Catrina was one of the leading members of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. She had a reputation for flaunting her curves and lethal weapons in social media posts. In the Jalisco New Generation Cartel cell, she oversaw a group of hitmen who ambushed state police on October 14, 2009 in the Michoacan state community of Aguililla. According to body cam footage taken during the police raid, the young assassin is seen reaching up to the camera while collapsed behind a wall, bloodied on her face and clothes. La Catrina joined the cartel in 2017 after falling in love with Miguel LM2 Fernandez, another high-ranking boss. With LM2, she advanced quickly through the ranks while leading a posh lifestyle within the cartel. She oversaw the payment of other criminals and directed extortion, kidnappings, and assassinations at the time of her death. During the operation where she was killed, LM2 was also detained. Her cartel came to prominence between 2013 and 2015 under the leadership of Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho. It is now recognized as the most dangerous and powerful cartel in Mexico. The cartel is active in the Americas, Asia, and Europe. Melissa Margarita Calderon Ojeda, La China. Calderon was born to Jose Alfredo Calderon Cota and Alma Guadalupe Ojedo Angulo on August 12, 1984. In 2005, her criminal career kicked off when she officially joined the Sinaloa cartel. Up until the head of the Sinaloa cartel, El Grande, killed Calderon's first boyfriend, Eric Davalos von Borstel, she was the head of the Damasco cartel, a subsidiary of that organization. Afterwards, she and her second partner, Hector Pedro Carmona, Camarena Gomez, El Chino, initiated an internal conflict against El Grande, which made her rise to the position of leader of Las Fuerzas. Police detained Calderon on September 20, 2015, when she tried to board a plane for Culhuacan at the Cabo San Lucas International Airport. Today, she is incarcerated at the Federal Social Readaptation Center No. 1. Authorities told regional media sites that La China collaborates with other women, particularly Gabriela Hurzar Lopez, aka La Gabi, to entice and murder their adversaries. In another instance that was caught on camera, La Gabi pretended to be drunk outside of a bar, falling with her skirt almost reaching her waist. La China came from the shadows with guns blazing as the intended target stopped to try to assist La Gabi. This was their standard operating procedure. La China is thought to be behind numerous violent outbursts in La Paz and more than 150 homicides across Mexico. Sandra Avila Beltran, Queen of the Pacific. Sandra Avila Beltran is a Mexican drug cartel member who the media called La Reina del Pacifico, which means the Queen of the Pacific. Officials in Mexico and the United States view her as a crucial link connecting the Norte del Valle cartel in Colombia and the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico. Avila Beltran was born in Baja California, Mexico in 1960. She is the daughter of Rafael Caro Quintero, a former commander of the Guadalajara cartel, and Mara Luisa Beltran Felix. Her criminal career has been significantly influenced by her family ties, as she is related to the Beltran Leyva brothers, who were once the top leaders of the Sinaloa Cartel Federation. In fact, Vila Beltran was a third-generation drug dealer in her family. Vila Beltran is the niece of Miguel Ángel Félix Gallardo, the godfather of the Mexican drug trade, according to officials in Mexico. Gallardo is currently serving a 40-year term for his alleged role in the 1984 murder of Enrique Camarena, a DEA special agent. In her younger years, she allegedly had relationships with several well-known drug lords. She was married twice. Both her husbands were former police commanders who had turned into drug dealers. They were both assassinated. The police believe her rise to power in the drug world is primarily due to her most recent relationship with Juan Diego Espinoza Ramirez, also known as the Tiger. Espinoza Ramirez is said to be an important figure in the Colombian Norte del Valle cartel. The police discovered more than 9 tons of cocaine aboard a ship in the Pacific port of Manzanillo, Colima in 2001, which they later traced to her and her partner Espinoza Ramirez. For a long time, she was able to evade giving police any evidence despite her high-profile lifestyle. But in 2002, her teenage son was taken hostage with a $5 million ransom, which made her turn to the authorities for help. She eventually got her son back, but not before suspicions were raised and an inquiry was started. It took more than 4 years and 30 federal officers to arrest her. She was detained in Mexico City on September 28, 2007, together with Espinoza Ramirez. She was accused and found guilty of money laundering for drugs worth billions of dollars that were trafficked from Colombia to Mexico. Enedina Arellano Felix. Enedina Arellano Felix de Toledo founded the Tijuana cartel along with her 6 brothers. She had the responsibilities of a logistics accountant. Her brothers led the Tijuana cartel during the majority of the 1990s, with Enedina advising and assisting them in financial management and money laundering. Enedina assumed the role, however, following the fall of a cartel finance kingpin in the year 2000. She initially began working for the Tijuana cartel as a money launderer in the shadows, but with the 2008 arrest of her brother Eduardo Arellano Felix, she eventually became the cartel's leader. In place of her brother's outdated and violent methods of running the Tijuana cartel, Enedina has contributed a more business-like vision. Unlike her brothers, who frequently turned to violence, she formed partnerships with other criminal organizations. Other than Sandra Avila Beltran in Mexico, Enedina is the first and one of the few women in the world to command a criminal organization, according to the Drug Enforcement Agency, or the DEA, and the Mexican media. These are roles traditionally held by men. She has several aliases, including La Jefa, La Madrina, and La Marco Mami. Emma Coronel Aispuro, Mrs. El Chapo. Emma Modesta Coronel Aispuro is a former American teen beauty pageant winner. She is well known for being the wife of Joaquín El Chapo Guzmán, who was the most wanted drug kingpin in Mexico up until he was sentenced to life in jail. Coronel entered the 2007 Coffee and Guava Festival beauty pageant in Canelas, Durango, Mexico. Each contestant was required to host a party in honor of her candidacy. Coronel held hers on Three Kings Day. El Chapo reportedly came to Canelas for this occasion. He met her there and they both decided to get married that day. On February 22, 2021, Coronel was taken into custody at Dulles International Airport. According to the Federal Bureau of Investigation's arrest warrant, the probable cause for Coronel's arrest included evidence that she helped her husband escape from Federal Social Readaptation Center No. 1, Altiplano, in 2015 through bribery. She had also helped plan another escape attempt that failed after Guzmán's extradition and shuttled messages from Guzmán to Sinaloa cartel associates. The document included 2 unknown cooperating witnesses' comments as well as a handwritten letter that Guzmán wrote and signed. As part of a plea agreement reached on June 10, 2021, Coronel Aispuro surrendered her right to an indictment and pleaded guilty in front of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia to a felony criminal information containing 3 counts: conspiracy to distribute heroin, cocaine, marijuana, and amphetamines for unlawful importation to the United States, conspiracy to launder monetary instruments, and engaging in transactions and dealings in properties of a designated significant foreign narcotics trafficker. On November 30, 2021, Coronel was given a sentence of 3 years in prison, followed by 4 years of supervised release by Judge Rudolph Contreras of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. Judge Contreras did not give Coronel the 4-year term that the prosecution had wanted, noting that she was still a minor when she married El Chapo and that she had accepted guilt at the time of her arrest. El Chapo is over 30 years older than she is. Coronel began serving her term in February 2022 at the Federal Medical Center in Carswell, and her release date is scheduled for September 13, 2023. That is all for this video. We'll see you in the next one.